Hello and welcome back to Concept First to Mastery. In this particular section, we want to continue with Git and GitHub. We've looked at a couple of things when it comes to using Git to collaborate with other persons you are working with, right? So in this section, we want to wrap up this with these three important Git commands, right? Git stash, cherry pick, and reflog. So we'll look at what they mean, and we'll look at their practical applications when it comes to development. Let's get right into it. So I'll start by opening the command prompt, right? So bring up the command prompt. So right here, what I just want to quickly do is seed into the project we've been using to practice, right? So if you were to be working on any project, you will have to go into that project. So here it's in the desktop. So desktop, right? Seed into desktop, then seed into, I think the name of the folder is learn Git, right? So you can see now that this is my current working directory. So I want to open this in my VS Code, the code editor, code dot, that's the shortcut. So this brings up the VS Code, right? So this is where we stopped in the last section while practicing Git using pull request and all that. So if you want to check things too, let's just see some of the things we've done. So if you do Git branch, so this will show me the current branches that we have. You can see that we are currently active on the login branch, but we also have master branch. We have registration branch, right? We can check out into registration and pick up from there. Check out into registration. We've done all this, right? So now if I do Git branch again, the active branch should be the registration branch, right? So clean up. Now, what we want to do quickly is to just practice the use of stash, right? So before I take you through what that means and some commands and apply them, let's just create a branch, right? Called stash. So I will just say git checkout, right? -b. So this command, don't forget, creates a branch and checks out into it directly. So git branch -b. I will just call this test stash, right? Then that is it. So now if you do git branch, we have that branch created. And don't forget that when I create this branch, it's picking off the registration branch. So it's starting from where registration branch, right, ends. And we can now have new updates on it. Git branch, I'm now on test branch. So this is where we'll be working. I will just ensure that we can see what's going on here. So you can see this is what we have currently. Now let's quickly do some basic things, right? What is Git stash, right? What exactly is stash? So stash simply means to store, temporary storage, right? So temporarily store changes in your working directory that haven't been committed yet. Take note of that have not been committed yet. So this is actually useful when you need to switch branches or pull updates without committing unfinished works. So there are times that when you are working, right? There are times that when you are working on a particular branch, you've done some things. Let me be practical enough. So let's say here, let me just put paragraph here and just say, let's just say new updates. Of course, this would be more if you were working on a project, probably you've created several files and you had different changes. You have different changes already across different branches, right? So this is just an example. Now we have new updates and Git is going to pick that up. And I believe you know why now. So when I say Git status, right, you can see that update is there. So this update is not yet committed. So for some reasons, I might need to, don't forget that currently we are on test stash, right? Branch. For some reasons, I might need to go quickly into login branch or registration branch to do some things, right? Now I have an uncommitted change here and I don't want to lose it, right? Because if you, at times if you even try to switch to a different branch, it's going to tell you to commit this first, but you don't want to commit it yet for some reasons. At times, it might not be that you want to switch to a different branch. It might be that you want to pull updates from the remote, right? And you know that when you pull updates from the remote, at times you will not be lucky. What you are pulling will just override whatever you have currently, and you don't want to lose what you've done already, right? So the best thing is you stash it, temporarily save it. That's what it is. So when here now, if I want to practice that, I'll just say git stash, right? Git stash. And once you do that, it's going to stash it, and you can see that it stashed it. So another command we can look at is how do we know what has been stashed? So you can do git stash list. So it's going to show you the list of what has been stashed. All right, you can see that. So that is it. But there are other commands that are also useful that I want to talk about. So we have git stash pop and git stash apply. So git stash apply actually applies the most recent stash, right? But keeps the stash list. What that means is, for instance, I already stashed this and I know that it's already stashed. So let's say I moved away from here, git checkout, because if you do git status now, it will be as if, don't forget you didn't commit this change, you stashed it. And if I do git status, it will tell me nothing to commit because I've stashed what was changed, the update I had already. So now what I can do is, if I check out to another branch, I can do that easily. Git checkout without feeling like I'm going to lose any data. I can check out into registration, right? Now I'm inside registration, but nothing is wrong with what I was doing inside test stash. So let's say I'm done and I have to come back to test stash, right? To continue what I'm doing. Test stash. Test stash. So once I have this, I know I'm inside test stash. So, and I had something going on before. Now I want to apply, right? That is when you use this git stash apply. But you need to know the implication, right? It's going to apply it's going to more like bring back what you stored temporarily back into the on stage area so that you can now commit it, right? But it's still going to leave a copy for you in the stash list. So this is what I mean. If I do git stash apply, so you can see now that I'm back to where it's more like being restored to what I was doing before. This is the change I had. I can now go back and commit it. But what that apply does is that after restoring me back to the previous uncommitted changes that I have, right? If I check git stash, I still have that intact. So you can see that that copy is still there, right? So, but if you use git stash pop, it's going to apply the most recent change. Don't forget the most recent, right? Usually the one on index 0 is going to apply the most recent change and then remove it from the stash list. So if I were to use git stash pop, it's going to apply it and then remove it from the list. This is what I mean, right? If I do git stash again, you can see that so no local changes to save, right? That's because it's not picking this as a new. So let me just do git stash. So this another way to test this quickly. Git stash drop. So that's going to drop any stash that I have. So you can see that it has dropped the stash. If I do git stash again, git stash list, nothing there. Okay, let's see something there. Then I can remove that also. Git stash pop, right? Then git stash list. So nothing there again, right? So now if I now do, don't forget, I still have this there uncommitted. If I do git stash again, just to practice the next one now, right? Git stash, just git stash. Now I have something temporarily stored, right? If you do git status, it's no longer there because it has been moved away. Now, what I can do to apply it is to do git stash pop. So what this is going to do is that it's going to actually restore you back to where you have before, right? And it's going to remove whatever has been stashed, the latest stash on that particular stash list is going to move it out of it. So git stash pop, right? So you can see that now that we are restored, it did two things. It restored us and it dropped the stash. So if I do git stash now, or git stash list, right? Nothing again. So that's it about git stash. So just some basic stuff, right? And very, very useful when you are working, especially when you want to switch to other branches or when you want to pull from the remotes and you don't want to lose track of what you have been doing. Then we also have git stash save, right? This is actually more like git stash, but this time around you want to apply, you want a message, maybe a custom message, right, to be applied alongside. let me see Git status. I'm here to commit what we have, right? So if I do Git stash save, then you just give it the message. Let's just say new update. So usually this will be something that can allow you remember what you were doing that you stashed, right? So once you do that, so you can see now that it has been stashed. If I do Git stash list, right? So you can see that we have this there, right? We have this there. What you can also do is Git log, right? So you see history of what we have been doing. Okay, yeah, I'm here to commit. Let me just quit with Q. So Git commit or Git add, because if you have this, it's not yet. Okay, I think I've removed it from the start. So I believe you get what I'm trying to say, right? So we have something that was not yet committed, and now we stashed it, move it into a temporary storage, right? And we can reapply it again whenever we want to reapply it. Very, very useful stuff. Then we also have another one, which is Git cherry pick, right? So Git cherry pick. Okay, before I go into Git cherry pick, let me just quickly talk about Git Reflog, right? Because that allows us to see what's going on for quickly. I will use it when I'm doing Git cherry pick. So it allows you to review history of changes, right, to the tip of branches, including updates that are not part of the branch history, e.g. stashes and rebases. So this is very, very, very useful. There are times that you'll be afraid, I've lost file. I don't know where this is. You just remember Git Reflog, right? It has a unique ID that tracks your commits and changes and all that, even stashes and rebates. So which means that you can easily restore back whatever you think you don't have. So it is very useful for recovering commits that seems lost. For instance, very basic Git reflog, right? Git reflog. So you can see what I have. These are my activities thus far. So if I want to go back as far as when I started working here, I can use this stash ID, right? And you can I've copied that ID now, right? Quit with Q. Now I can do Git checkout, right? I can check out into that commit and I will be in. So if I now do Git branch, so you should see that. So you can see that I'm now inside that particular commit. I can now create a new branch of this, knowing fully that I'm back into whatever has been lost and has been saved on that ID, right? So that's just how Git reflog works. So now let's move to Git cherry pick. So this one is also very, very, very important, right? Usually when you are working with people, let's say you are working on the login feature, someone is working on forgot password, right? And you need that particular feature to quickly test whatever you are doing from your own end, but you don't want to pull the old branches, right? You don't want to pull the old branch, updates from the old branch. You don't want to, you just want that feature only, that commit only. You can cherry pick a commit, right, onto your own branch. And that is very, very useful. There are times that you work on some updates and those updates are the only updates you want to go into production, right? You just cherry pick them onto maybe what is in production already. And those updates are the only thing that will go production, not the entire work that you have in that particular branch. It's very, very useful. So it applies specific commit from another branch onto the current branch, right? This is useful when you want to incorporate specific changes without merging the entire branch, right? So I will talk about Git cherry pick continue flag and with skip, right? There are times that when you want to cherry pick, there will be conflict, right? And because there is conflict, you will need to resolve the conflict and then move things to staging. And once you have done that, you can now do Git cherry pick continue and to continue the cherry pick for you, or you can skip the entire thing entirely. So enough talking. Let's quickly test that. So currently we are on Git branch. We are on this branch, right? Okay, I want to check out into Git check out into let's still be inside. Okay, let me check out into login branch so that I can have that as my base. right? So I can now do git checkout -p. This is actually to create a new branch now. Now we call it Sherry, just so that we'll have another branch, right, to test what cherry pick means, right? So I have this now. Now I have that cherry pick, and if I just want to open this so that you see what is there, so you can see what we have here now, right? The last thing here is this login section. So let's now change or switch back to this branch, test branch, right? Test branch. So let's say git checkout test branch. Now I'm inside test branch. So let me just have some updates in test branch. So inside there, let's say I have, I will just say this updates will be cherry picked into cherry branch, right? So this update will be cherry picked into cherry branch. Of course, you could have other updates before, but this is what I want. So what we just do here is, by the time I come and I do git status, right? So this update is here, not yet committed. I can just do git add to move that to staging, right? It should be green now. Then git commit, right? Let's just say the message flag is to be cherry picked, right? To be cherry picked. So that is committed. Git status, nothing, everything should be clean now, right? So now let's say someone else worked on that particular feature. So let's say what I just committed is a feature, and now I want it in cherry pick branch. So let's say let me move to this branch, git check out. Let's move to Sherry now. Don't forget that Sherry does not contain what I have here, this paragraph, line 21, right? So let me check out into Sherry. Now, if you do this, you see that Sherry is not having that. You can see, right? But I can make it too. So I can now do git. Don't forget my current branch now. Git branch is Sherry. But I want to cherry pick the commit I have, right? Inside test stash. I want to bring it into sharing, right? So this is just the basic scenario. And if you know that, it's that simple, right? And it works. You have several updates, several commits that you have before. So probably the person working or deploying the app says, okay, can you give me this particular I need this particular commit, right, that we have confirmed to be ready. Can you cherry pick it, right? It might be cherry pick it into a already tested branch or already developed application, right? That is already in staging or in development. You just want only that commit to be moved, right? So let's say that's what I want to do. Just to git cherry, right? Then pick, say git cherry pick, and you just say, of course, there's something I missed out because you can't cherry pick without knowing the ID, right? So let me just say git checkout again. I need the ID of that particular commit that I need to cherry pick. So git log, right? So this is the last commit that I have, and you can see it to be cherry picked. So this is the ID, this is the commit ID. Just copy it like this, right? And come here. Q to quit. Then I can now do git check out sharing, right? So here I can now do git cherry pick the ID. So you can see that it has been cherry picked. And when I come here, you can see now that I have that update. So this was cherry picked and missed many other things. So whatever updates you have in that particular commit ID will be cherry picked into this particular branch, which is very, very important. At times, you want to do it from GitHub, right? You are working on a particular project and you just want to, it might not be directly from your local branch. So let me just quickly show you that also. So let's say I want to switch to, okay. let's say I'm switching to this. Okay. Okay. All right. Since I don't know, since I've forgotten my. All right. So I'm in, right? So learn Git. So let's just look at some of these things. You can see now that we have 20 commits currently. So that's what I'm trying to say. Let's say you want to cherry pick any of the commits you have before. This is the commit ID, right? By the time you click on view commit, so you'll be able to copy the ID of that particular copy. And I think it already showed you that you can copy the ID straight away. So you can see copy the hash value. So let's say I want to cherry pick this part, whatever I've done here, notification. Right? Let's say that's what I want to cherry pick. I'll just copy this and then cherry pick it into whatever branch I'm working on. So I want to believe that that is clear. So the other instance is when you have conflict. So let me just try to see whether that will happen. Git, just to wrap this up now, Git branch, Git branch. Okay, so Git check out to test branch. I just want to have something quick. All right. So let's say I have something here too, paragraph. Let's say, let's just say commit 1, right? I am hopeful that this will result in conflict, right? Then commit 2. So let's see, okay, no, commit 1. Let me just have commit 1. I want to be deliberate about that conflict. Commit 1. So git status, right? Git add dots, git commits -m. By now, with the way I'm doing this, it should be clear to you. All this, a mastery of all these commands should be coming to you now, right? Let's just say this one is with message commit 1. We're just learning. So that has been committed, right? So let's say I decide to now have another one, which will now be the second commit. Let's say commit 2. Because it's on the same file, I expect conflict. Git status, we should have that update now, yet to be committed. Git add dots, right? Git commits -m. So let's say this is commit 2. Yeah, commit 2. So now we have 2 commits, right? So let me do git log, either git log or git reflog, right? Just get the ID, git log. So let's say I'm getting the commit 2 ID, right? So which is this one? Let me copy the ID. Let's say that is what I intend to cherry pick. Q to quit that. Now, if I do git checkout to Sherry, the Sherry branch, right? Now the Sherry branch is not aware of those things. So let's say I want to bring them in, just those that's commit 2. Now if I do git Sherry pick, git Sherry pick this ID. All right, so this is conflict. And we've already resolved conflict, spoke about conflict in last section, right? If you are not aware of that, you can just review the last section, right, that we had on pull request and collaborating with others and fixing conflict. You'll be able to get around this. But here is conflict for us. This is the current change we have on this particular branch, right? This one, this green, meaning there is nothing there. This is the incoming content. This faint blue, right, is incoming content. So I'm to actually choose between accepting the current or accepting incoming. Now, what I want is incoming because I'm cherry picking from that other branch into this, right? I will just say accept incoming, right? If you want to accept both, it just means that you have a space here. So accept incoming. I'll fix that conflict. Now that I've fixed that conflict, don't forget I'm cherry picking, right? I will now need to come back and do git status. And now I have this. You will need to now go through the normal route of moving this to staging, right? Git status should be green now. All right, so you can now do git. You can see the suggestions here. That's what git is good at, right? You can just do git cherry pick I don't want to skip. I don't want to abort. Git cherry pick continue, just so that it can continue the cherry pick and finish it up. So Git cherry pick continue. So the more you practice these things, the more the better you get at it. So this is the Vim interface, right? I don't want to update anything here. I just want to get out of that. So when you type, if you're on Windows, when you type Control C, right, it's going to tell you what to do. So what I just want to do is quit here, and that is with column QA, right? That's like quitting this particular Vim interface. So you can see now, once I did that, it's completes the stuff. And once I do code dot, right, I now have access to what was inside the commit, the last commit that I have inside the other branch, right? I now have it here. So I want to believe that this is okay, right? You've grabbed one or two things, right? When you have to continue to work, collaborating in order, be deliberate about using Git, be deliberate about using GitHub, right? In collaborating with others. I know that most people at times VS Code have these extensions and these features made easy. You can easily just can see something here, which is the Git control. You can easily use the buttons that are made available by VS Code to do these things, but it will mean that you don't really know these things, right? So it's also good that at times you, instead of going that shortcut route, you get into the root of these things, type them yourself, get to understand what is going on. So yeah, that's where I'll be ending this particular series on Git and GitHub, right? So expect more from me. In the next section, I'll be looking at CSS, right? Working with CSS and many more things, right? As we make progress. Yeah, see you in the next section. And don't forget to subscribe, right? If you love what we've been doing, don't forget to subscribe. It helps the channel to grow. Don't forget also to click the like button and also to turn on the notification bell. Thank you.